What is up, guys? KackisHD here. Thank you so much for stopping by, and today we have an insane and super fun build you absolutely need to try out that involves sidearms of all things. But the other thing is that this build is most definitely glitched. But it's glitched in the best possible way. It doesn't work in PvP, only in PvE, and even then, it's not absolutely game-breaking. It's just a lot of fun. And so, let's get started. Now, this build involves the brand new mod from Destiny 2 Season of Arrivals, and it's called Surprise Attack. Now, interestingly, although this involves sidearms, it has a symbol of a grenade. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be replaced with this other mod that involves grenades but has a symbol of a sidearm, but that's beside the point. It's called Surprise Attack, and what it says is that, well, firstly, it gives you -10 to your intellect, so keep that in mind. It is very cheap, though, at only 1 energy, and it says, while charged with light, reloading or readying a sidearm will consume all stacks of charge with light and convert them into stacks of a major damage buff, which are depleted as you damage combatants with that sidearm. And you can see that working in the background gameplay. The Rat King exotic sidearm hits for 2,000 damage normally and 4,000 damage with the buff. The Devil's Ruin, when it's doing a charged attack, hits for 2,370 damage for a crit, and then when it has the buff, 4,700 damage. So, it quite literally doubles the damage output of your sidearms, which is pretty significant. It also does work in a unique way where it's not a static damage buff. You actually have a limited amount of shots, a limited amount of kind of damage engagements, so to speak, because as you can see, if I get charged with light, which I do from just picking up an orb of light due to a mod, and then switch to my sidearm, I have the buff ×5, and after like 5 shots, it is gone. Now, the more charged with light you are, the bigger that bonus is going to be. As you can see, when I get ×2 charged with light, and then I swap to my sidearm, it's 10 rounds. Then even I can put on a brand new mod that allows me to become charged with light 2 more times for a maximum of 5 due to a third mod which I don't put on. So I have ×4 charged with light here, and it goes all the way to 20 times. So the more times charged with light you are, the more damage you can inflict with your sidearm that's doing double damage. I also did make sure to test it, and there's no difference in the damage whether you're ×5 or ×20, it's just how long the buff lasts. So already, that is pretty sweet. Doubling your sidearm damage just for switching to it or reloading it when you're charged with light, which isn't that hard to do, especially with a build I'm going to share later, means that you are going to be getting that damage bonus pretty consistently. But here comes the glitch. It turns out, and I was able to replicate this on multiple different planets like all the time, if you get this damage bonus. So you have charged magazine ×20 or ×5, it doesn't matter, it's going to go down as normally if you shoot enemies. But if you keep that bonus and load into a different area, so as you can see, I'm going into this lost sector, and then when I shoot enemies, it doesn't go down. And then when I come back out of the lost sector and I shoot enemies, it doesn't go down, but it retains that damage bonus. So, in the original area you load into, if you're planning to use your sidearm just there, you do have to consistently get charged with light. But if you just load into a lost sector and come right back, that charged magazine bonus doesn't go down. It stays up indefinitely, and you can see in the background gameplay the shenanigans you can get up to. Now keep in mind, you will not be able to switch off of your sidearm. That will make that buff go away. Also, going onto your Sparrow will also screw it up. As long as you just have your sidearm out the entire time, you will get double damage all the time. Now, where is this useful? Again, it's not going to work in a PvP map because there's nowhere to load into. There's no lost sectors in PvP. But in terms of just normal planetary areas, if you're doing, I don't know, the new Contact public event on IO, really easy to slip into a Lost Sector, slip back out, and then just have a sidearm that's bonkers within that public event. And again, you can see in the background gameplay, you are absolutely shredding with these sidearms. And speaking of which, let's talk about the best sidearms to be using. First and foremost, it's gotta be the Devil's Ruin. Has the intrinsic perk Close the Gap, variable trigger, press and release to fire individual shots, hold to charge up a high-powered, unstoppable staggering laser, strong against unstoppable champions. It also has another unique perk here called Pyrogenesis. Fully charging the laser refills the magazine from reserves. And this thing, when it's doing double damage, just shreds in the contact public events. With one shot of its laser, you can kill a champion. Especially unstoppable champions, because it stuns them like right away, and then the 75% after they're stunned of the laser just kills them. Like, you one-shot kill unstoppable champions. That's insane. Even the new like Dark Drinker sword, the Falling Guillotine, won't necessarily with a heavy attack kill the unstoppables sometimes, but this will. But with that being said, of course, the sword is more powerful in general, like against mages and so on. You want the sword, but the sword uses heavy ammo. This uses primary ammo. Now, yes, you can't switch, so I would recommend putting on sidearm ammo finders and scavengers, or primary ammo finders or scavengers if you're using the wrong element of armor, just so that you consistently get ammo. But if you put on a couple of those, you should be more than fine just using one weapon for the entirety of a public event. And the fact that it has built-in unstoppable staggering, super useful. Not to mention that although you're using the laser most of the time because it just shreds enemies when it's doing double damage, like it does a pretty considerable amount of damage just on its own. I remember taking it through raids and it was killing raid bosses, so doubling that is just absurd. But you can also just normally fire it and one-shot kill pretty much any red bar with that double damage as well. So it's super efficient for that as well. But moving on from there, another option you may want to use is the other exotic sidearm, the Rat King. It has the intrinsic perk Rat Pack. Fully automatic weapon becomes stronger when nearby allies that also have it equipped stacks up to 6 times. And it also has the other unique perk Vermin. Reloading immediately after a kill grants a brief period of invisibility. So basically this turns into like a fully automatic hand cannon. Imagine like the most powerful hand cannon. Honestly, imagine the Ariana's Vow fully automatic with 12 rounds. That's basically what you're getting from the Rat King with this buff. And you can see that against the Altars of Sorrow event. Like, this thing is taking down nightmares as a primary weapon really darn fast, and God forbid you're a red bar, you just get mowed down, insta-kill just for a body shot from like pretty considerable distance away too. So yeah, Rat King is super fun to use, and if you want to get a bunch of friends together that all have it to trigger Rat Pack, you can do that as well. However, the weapon you're using doesn't have to be exotic. There's a lot of great legendary sidearms out there, like this for example, my 7th Seraph sidearm that comes with Demolitionist and Vorpal. And as you can imagine, Vorpal with the double damage against champions and higher level enemies, it just shreds them. Demolitionist is really nice too because you can still use your grenades and melees while retaining this damage buff glitch. But don't forget there's like the Last Hope out there that can spawn with Feeding Frenzy multi-kill clip. Like, any sidearm is going to become god tier when you're doing this. But of course, it is a glitch, and if you don't want to do this, or you're doing an activity that you can't do this, you're doing like a strike and you don't have time to go into a lost sector or whatever, don't worry, I still have you covered. There's a build that you can run that makes this extremely legitimate, the glitch isn't involved, and it's still quite effective. So, of course, the main thing you're running is Surprise Attack again, then you're combining it with the easiest way to become charged with light generally, which is taking charged, so just picking up an orb of light, and that also counts Masterwork orbs of light, so if you have a Masterwork sidearm, like my 7th Seraph, that's triggering upon getting kills with itself. Very easy to just always be charged with light. But we have even easier ways to become charged with light thanks to a different mod here, and that is Swift Charge. Become charged with light by rapidly defeating combatants with pulse rifles, sidearms, or submachine guns. So literally for using your double damage sidearm and just getting kills with it, if you get like 3 quick kills in a row, you're going to become charged with light just with that, not having to pick up any sort of orbs or anything. So you're combining that with taking charge and a masterwork sidearm to just always be charged with light. And to make the most of that, the last piece of the puzzle is that supercharged mod. So you can get charged with light ×4 to just, again, really continuously keep up that damage bonus. You can also combine this in the very last slot with Oppressive Darkness, just as a really easy way to increase that sidearm damage even more so by simply chucking a grenade at a powerful enemy first. And so guys, there you have it. Who would have thought sidearms are the new cracked DPS strat? But that is it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Found this interesting. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at @RickKackis. That's linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.